Republican candidate Nikki Haley is continuing to try to distance herself from when she said states should be allowed to leave the United States. Last week, she told radio host Charlamagne the God that states like Texas could make the decisions that their people want to make when it comes to leaving the country. Since then, of course, she has backpedaled. After all, she is running to become president of the United States. Okay. And the Constitution, which you're sworn to follow as president, does not really look kindly on secession. I mean, you know, we had a whole war over that. That, of course, has left her in a bit of a pickle, as she's been trying to walk the line and doing it pretty poorly. And she wants to support what Texas is doing in order to get the support of the racist vote, but also is trying to say, oh, well, look, technically, yes, secession, probably not a good thing, but at the same time, I really want the racist vote. Now, on Sunday, she was challenged directly on this, and, well, here's what she said.
You want to be president of the United States. Do you think that any state has a right to secede?
No, according to the Constitution, they can't. What I do think they have the right to do is have the power to protect themselves and do all that. Texas has talked about seceding for a long time. The Constitution doesn't allow for that. But what I will say is, where's that coming from? That's coming from the fact that people don't think that government is listening to them. And I've been 400 miles on that border, Dana. You see what those ranchers are going through. You see what those people in Eagle Pass are going through. And now you see what's happening in New York and cities across the country, because now every city is Eagle Pass. We've got to start getting this under control. Texans are frustrated, and rightfully so. Governor Abbott's frustrated, and rightfully so. When have you ever seen a president not support a governor when they're trying to keep their people safe? It's a real problem.
So here's the thing. Nikki Haley's talking about, the situation of Eagle Pass. You realize that people in Eagle Pass, they're mad at Greg Abbott for literally taking over a public park, making it a command center for Operation Lone Star, and then putting up all these buoys, this razor wire. They're not happy about that. Okay, that's one of the big problems here. In fact, a lot of the residents are calling that out, and they're like, we don't want this national attention on us. We don't want, Republicans doing this for the border. Yes, we do want border patrol, and we want that, and we do want security, but not in the way that Greg Abbott is doing this. We don't want to be the center of attention here. So it's kind of funny how she points that out and uses that as a justification. Like, well, of course, Texas just wants to be safe. They want to just protect themselves. And so that's kind of why I talked about Texas being able to be allowed to vote to secede. Except that, now I have to backtrack on that because, oops, backpedal, because I'm trying to be the president of the United States. Oh, no. So anyway, here's the thing. The Constitution is very clear. There's a supremacy clause, which gives the federal government more power than the state in the case of the border, immigration. Border Patrol is not able to do their jobs with that razor wire in place. Which, by the way, the razor wire is not a deterrent here. People are still trying to come over. What happens is people end up getting cut up, injured, even killed by trying to cross the wire. Or going to places and trying to cross in places where the wire is not there because you can't actually put up the wire, like in the water, which can be, again, pretty dangerous, right? But think about it. How is it not a deterrent? Most of them are making this months-long journey through deserts and jungle, dangerous rivers, wildlife exposure, criminal gangs, all this stuff. Do you think that going through all of that, and some people die in this journey, that when they get there and they see the razor wire sitting on the American side of the border, that they're just going to give up? They're just be like, oh, they put up some wire. Shoot, now we got to just make that trek all the way back down through, once again, the jungles, the deserts, the rivers, the wildlife, the criminal gangs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No, they're not going to do that. No, they're already across the border. The wire's on the American side. Why? The United States cannot build razor wire on the Mexico side of the border. It's literally a sovereign country. Okay, we can't just build stuff there. No, the thing is, since the razor wire is on the American side, Border Patrol needs access. Because, again, migrants are already here when they cross the border. So the next step, of course, legally, is that they have to be taken into custody by Border Patrol. Texas, in putting up all this BS, has actually prevented Border Patrol from doing their jobs. It's like the local sheriff trying to keep the state police from doing their job by physically blocking them access. So Nikki Haley, again, her justification doesn't make any sense, but you can see how she's trying to have things both ways, right? And this has always been the problem with Nikki Haley. She's a weatherman. She has no core values. She's an empty pantsuit that's looking for power. So she's going to pander to the racists, right? Who, again, they'll never vote for her, okay? And she's also going to try to pander to the so-called moderates, right? And that's who she's trying to get right now. When she says, oh, no, they can't secede. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But then also, since right now Republican primary voters are like hopped up on immigration, they're like, oh, immigration is the biggest issue facing this country. Illegal immigration, you got the caravans and the immigrants are everywhere. There's an invasion. So they're all, you know, they're all like super like motivated by that. That's their main issue. So Nikki Haley, she reads polls. Okay, she's like, oh man, I got to defend Texas, obviously. And so that's the issue, all right? She's trying to do that, and she's trying to walk that line. It kind of reminds me of what she did back in 2015, right? So after the mass shooting at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston by a white supremacist, Haley, she actually made news by removing the Confederate flag. But she did so in a way that completely ignored the reasons why the flag should be removed. She said at the time, for many people in South Carolina, the flag stood for their heritage and their history. What heritage was that? What history was that? She didn't say anything. She said, though, for many others, it was a deeply offensive symbol of a brutally oppressive past. But didn't mention that it was for the Civil War, didn't mention that, you know, the cause of the Civil War was slavery. And she continued to gloss over that because what she has done is made a political calculation. That telling the truth about the Civil War, because again, you have right-wingers that are like, states' rights. The Civil War was about states' rights. Okay, well, states' rights to do what? States' rights to do what, motherfucker? States' rights to do what? Never answer that question. And of course, there's always the, well, they're Democrats, they were part of the slavery. That's what it was. Yeah, it was Republicans that freed the slaves. Yes, and who switched during the Civil Rights era? Oh, right. Republicans and Democrats did a party flip, and all the racists went to the Republicans. All the people that were the former slave owners went to the Republicans. Weird. Weird how that works out. And so, look, the southern states, of course, seceded from the Union in order to keep their right to own black people. She has made that calculation that telling the truth about this and admitting, yes, southern states, secession, Civil War, about keeping humans as slaves, that's going to hurt her in the Republican primary. Gee, I wonder why. This is where the Republican Party's politics are stuck in 1865. Okay? It's 2024. Kind of a big difference, right? Thing is, though, when you think about it, Republican policies are also kind of, you know, stuck in 1865. So, and any Republican politician is not going to be successful in winning a primary unless they're also stuck in 1865.